Hello, and welcome back to Never Is Funny, the show where I, Patrick, talk to funny people and hope to God they talk back. Now, this is the final episode of this 2025 Edinburgh Fringe-based series of the show. Fringe has now been over for over a week, so this one is sort of a coda. Not a coma, though, because my guest this time, Mike Fallek, is one of the most vivacious ones I've ever had. I'm using vivacious to mean energetic here, although I googled the definition to find it usually means so in the context of an attractively energetic woman. So I guess you're welcome, Mike. Anyway, I'm talking to Mike about a documentary he's made, The Lawn Con. The documentary is narrated by Chuck Nice, featuring PhDs, experts, and comics talking about how lawns are ruining America. It's an incredible piece of work, and there is so much passion behind it. And I was very lucky to be on the receiving end of Mike's passion in this episode. He also made me laugh so hard I wheezed, partly out of incredulity, because everything he said caught me completely off guard. Let's see if it catches you off yours. Welcome back to the show, where I talk to comedians in the know. That's right. It's Never As Funny. It's Never As Funny. The show is called Never As Funny. It's the name of the show, by the way. Never As Funny. This is the gist of it. The name. The show's called Never. This is like the title music. It's called Never As Funny. All right.
Cool. Let's just get rolling.
Yeah, let's get rolling. Okay, so welcome back to Never As Funny, everyone. Very interesting guest this time for a number of reasons. But I think to begin with, my guest, I should say, is Mike Fallek. And really, I think kind of central to your persona, your career, all the things you've done, is that you own one of the very few copies of the multi-level marketing guides to hamsters.
Yeah, absolutely, I do. It's a real thing.
I'll be honest and say that I'm naive when it comes to what exactly multi-level marketing is to begin with. So,
you're going to have a fun time on Reddit now. Oh, it's a great little... So multi-level marketing uses just regular scam and hucksterness combined with, usually in the modern age, a sense of cult manipulation and coercion. Multi-level marketing is also is the more negative word for a pyramid scheme.
Right.
So hamsters, I made a movie about hamsters, and basically hamsters were brought to the Western world in order to test for leprosy. There was a long, leprosy appears in the Bible. Yeah, leprosy appears in the Bible, and there's a thinking for thousands of years that leprosy may legitimately be from God to man because only mankind could get leprosy. This was, thought for eons. And so in the 50s, they were trying to cure leprosy, I guess early 40s. And they were just on these hunt for animals, new species that could catch leprosy.
Right.
And one of the ones that emerges are these hamsters. And then hamsters become really prolific for scientific testing. And the guy who created this, I believe Albert Marsh, I'm not with the book right now, basically bred too many hamsters because I didn't ask about the swearing. I've listened to a few episodes, but can I swear?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
All right, so this fucking guy, he makes too many hamsters. And so then he's like, I know what I'll do. I'll market this to be like, you can start a hamster farm at your home. You can buy all your equipment from me, which is a big part of multi-level marketing. If someone says you can only use our equipment.
Right.
And you can sell them to your friends. And basically, he starts the pet industry. I always say this about pets. The pet industry is very short. It's existed less than 100 years. And so although PETA has a very wild seeming take on pets and things like that, the idea that pets will exist, in 100 years is, in my opinion, from a historical standpoint, the pet industry, it's far-fetched that it will exist in 100 years.
Okay.
You see the movie theaters dying from my industry. Movie theaters are older than pet stores. So the idea that one is on its way out, the pet store could easily be, so is fast food. And we're seeing fast food failing. Nothing is permanent. Everything dies, and it may happen quicker than you think. And isn't that the lesson of pets in the first place, that everything dies? Pets have existed for a while. There's a lot of people that go wild about dogs and think they're very important. I'm not on that camp. I don't necessarily see the evidence that dogs are very important, but people like dogs. They're very cute. They look like they're smiling when they're dying of dehydration. So that makes them a fun pet to care for. So, want to remind everybody too, while we're on animals, that the crocodiles outlived the ice age. So it doesn't matter what you do with global warming. crocodiles will be here as well. They are terrifying no matter what. So there you go. Have a pet crocodile if you want to have a good pet, a healthy pet.
Holy fuck. That was the most... I mean, there was a dangerous answer to the question like that, because I'm going to have to hard steer my brain away from just turning this into a podcast about like hamster marketing, because that was incredible. I felt like I was listening to like NPR. That was amazing.
Oh, there we go. I've had run-ins with them. So another wonderfully boring addition to the podcast universe. So like I put a post on there today, every documentary you make has a goofy entry point.
Yeah.
There's always a goofy entry point, if you saw on my Instagram. But it's always about something else. Hamsters, multi-level marketing, the creation of a pet industry that, if you don't know, this is the woman who sang that song, How Much Is That Doggy in the Window? Basically spent the rest of her life trying to take down puppy mills and pet stores.
Right.
That wasn't in the film. But everything is darker. When I did a movie about pet tarantulas, like why would people have pet tarantulas? There was a whole thing. Tarantulas get introduced to white America, the colonies, right before and right after the freedom of the slaves. And so tarantulas are connected to a lot of Mexican racism, a lot of xenophobia, and a lot of, this is in the documentary, it's called Spiders Will Eat Your Face, about pet tarantulas. Yes. And there's this whole news story that people would just publish dozens and dozens of times when they had nothing there to be like, a black worker has been scared by a tarantula and a bunch of bananas. And, they freaked out and they did whatever. And it was because you needed a story to take down people of color because they could now get real jobs. So now you had to find ways to insult these people, inconceivable stuff. There's always something deeper. With lawns is, as it says on that Instagram, it's all about inaction. It's all about how we don't do anything. I've said this to everybody I've told the movie to. I would love to hear something we're doing about global warming. I'd love someone to tell me one thing we're doing.
Yeah.
I cannot name one, especially American. I cannot name one thing we are doing to do anything about it. And lawns, since bringing the film to the UK for the Fringe, we said it on a show. It sounds like I'm describing Warhammer 40K. They don't get why we're so into it. They don't. It's obvious. Here, the social pressure of no mow May, which you don't know about, that is about like not mowing in May because you don't need to mow in May. There's social pressure to not do it. You'd get judged if you did mow your lawn in May. But they're not as obsessed. We've met very few people that are obsessed with their lawn. It exists. But of course, they don't have as much easy access to gasoline, which we whine about. Right. But then, of course, we use for these gas mowers that are effectively motorcycles. They're exactly motorcycles from World War I. They're using the same engines. It's wild. And I will guarantee you nothing will be done about lawns in America. Nothing. So I make these futile documentaries because the problems will die on their own. But as an artist, you sometimes have to have 100-year gaze, like I'm saying, and, look at things from thousands of years. Because you go to the big museum and there's a painting from the 1500s. You just have to kind of have an attitude. I call it the high elf attitude, which is like the elves in Lord of the Rings that are, I don't really care what you do. You'll die off in a couple thousand years, And that's really what's happening to America. You don't care about pets. You don't care. You want your pet. I hope I get canceled in the future for having pets. It's a cancelable action if you think about it. But I like my pets, so go to hell. Are Americans going to do anything about lawns? No, they'll run out of gas and they'll switch to electric. And then, of course, electrical batteries will become the premium and they'll figure it out then in a couple thousand years. It's not something they're actually going to solve. I have no hope for Americans. I bring these stories to other people because they're interesting. And a lot of people think about documentary as action. It's about journalism. It's about writing it down, journaling it, documenting it. I'm just writing down the dumbass shit Americans are doing because they didn't do anything about it. It's forgotten history,
Yeah.
Anyway, that was an answer to one question. Let's keep going.
It was very good. It's a very good answer. I mean, one thing that came to mind for me, this is possibly not a good point at all, but
now I've just said all that bullshit and you're going to think something isn't a good point. I think that's self-deprecating to a point that's embarrassing. It will be a better point than half the stuff I said. So
that's possible. It's true. Despite the accent, I live in the UK, so I come from a UK background. I do run into this a lot when I speak to Americans on here, which is the British way is very much like, oh, well, I've got a silly little thing to say. And then my American guests will, what are you talking about? You guys the best in the world. You're the best. You're the greatest.
You're the best question I ever heard. Yeah.
But it just struck me that I think even the word lawn, I mean, you hear it here sometimes, but it's a lot more common for people to be like, oh yeah, I've got a little back garden. Like, it's not quite the same.
Yeah.
Whereas lawn is this like cinematic, like a lawn is something that you have in a movie, and there's this whole culture like, yeah, you gotta get sent out to mow the lawn. Like, it's such a big deal.
Massive
which
deal.
is just like interesting in itself, I think.
Yeah, it's even the word garden and things like that. I mean, there's a great moment in the movie where I said, why not clover lawns, right? Because if they're obsessed about not having their lawns tall, you just get a clover lawn. And this expert said, well, I think it's the bees. And I said, we need the bees.
Yeah.
We so badly need bees. And there's no awareness. I don't think Americans change for almost anything. And I also don't think satire is working. I think that there's a lot of Americans that send each other satire and they go, good point. And I go, yeah, who's listening? I'm listening. Great. But I already agree with you. So who cares?
Yeah, but now what? Yeah.
Now what? And lawns are a great entry point. And lawns show you how you're barking. You know, we didn't talk to anyone that was working in lawn care. We didn't touch the issue of immigration and immigrants working in lawn care because for two reasons. One, I didn't want to go up to an immigrant and say, yeah, everybody hates that you do this job. Two, I don't want to go up to anyone and say, yeah, somebody hates that you do your job. And three, when we made the movie, and since in the last 100 years, even more so, I don't need to bother immigrants to be on film to mess with them on this. But the point remains, you want to make all these great points about the terrible stuff going on with ICE.
Yeah.
They won't change something obvious that's obviously hurting them. So I don't know why you're starting there. My whole point with all the movies I make is to go, you can't get them to do anything. Why do you think this will work? I think we're better off with Americans making up just wizardry. If you think about how many Americans will mow their lawn, you say, I'll tell you, so these are the scary facts. Lawn causes the same carcinogen as tobacco, butadiene 1,3. It is bad for noise pollution, increases your chance of dementia, 25%, increases your chance for obesity, increases your chance for cancer. The bees are dying. The fireflies are dying. It does not improve the cost of your house at all by any study that we've seen. They won't do anything about that. And you expect to have a conversation about immigration? I don't know how you think that's possible. I don't know how anybody thinks that's a possibility in any regard. You know, I think that we are better off. You hear all those facts and you go, don't mow your lawn. It's not good for it. Plant a new thing. It's not good for it. They won't do it. But if you go, don't open an umbrella inside, they don't do it. So just make up myths. I think one of the easiest ways we could do it is to make up a myth that mowing your lawn on an odd number day is bad luck.
Yes, that's true. Or you could...
That would be more effective.
I think you could also... You get a big demographic, I think, if you got some sort of big kind of right-wing grifters to sort of say that mowing your lawn's woke. I think that could create a big shift.
Oh, yeah. We've thought about stuff like that, too. You know, it's a matter of like actually getting people to change. And people seem to change via superstition and wizardry because we're just this country of morons who believe in magic. And, you know, it's so silly. They'll protest a black Santa Claus, but they then are fine with Santa being in you know, the 10 Commandments being in your school.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nonsense. There's no reason. What do you think they're, you know, if you watch anybody of these very funny people on TikTok or these very, very funny people on The Daily Show, I don't think that if you're under the impression that satire is converting anyone, I think you're delusional. And so we're coming at satire from a different angle, which is to say you're mowing your lawn because you're sexually frustrated with your marriage. You have some sort of bugaboo. You want to get away from your spouse. You want to do this thing to control your money because you won't vote for the right people to actually save you money because you think you're going to be a millionaire one day. You think your house is an investment and all that's bullshit. And so instead, that's already big enough to make people understand these things that they're buying into. But if you make fun of it, you make fun of that thing, you can get people to change their lawn. The rest of their life might change. And that's what we can focus on and we can do funny, informative stuff on and really dig into an area where we have penetration because otherwise, like, I don't see any progress happening. More people voted for Trump the second time. So I don't know what people think is happening by doing this method of satire. Satire comedians are failing with 100% certainty.
Oh, yeah.
You have to look at the numbers. It's preaching to the choir, which, by the way, I love. It's great content. But to say that it's effective satire, basically the only effective satire that works is sort of deeply focused satire that exposes something that somebody is so abused and puts a voice to and creates a movement that it puts a voice to that people talk about it. There's also a culture of non-focused satire. So whatever the story is of the week, we do a focus on, rather than something like South Park, who dedicates an entire episode to something. That sometimes helps, though I don't know that I want to endorse South Park across the board either. But, you know, they're doing some work.
Yes.
You use if you have a massive enough platform. But if you're a satirist on TikTok and you're doing, every time there's a bad news story, focus on one news story. Lawns may seem silly, but we're focused on it because it's such an uphill battle, and we might be able to change it, but I don't think we will. I'm basically abandoning America and all these issues. But if you can focus in on one area and fix it, and the problem is there's a new issue every week that is life-threatening to immigrants and gay people and trans people. It's terrible. Yes. I'm here in Scotland, the home of the biggest piece of shit in the world. Like, she's not even the home of it. She just kind of wrote some shit here, and they're still doing tours on it. You know, they still go around doing tours. I read the book this many times. Who gives a shit? You know, there's other books about magic. You know, go read Rainbow Rowell. Go read someone that actually cares about people. It's ridiculous. And then they're making these movies again. I mean, what is that? let me, now that we're going on about this, I want to ask everyone a question about child acting. It's not good. Like, if my kid wanted to act, I would encourage them and say, you're doing great. But like, I've never seen child acting and been like, I now know the human spirit. Like, it's bad. We don't need it. It's not good. It's nice. Like, they're all trying their best. And if you're as talented as Hermione Voice Warble Granger, whatever her name is, I forget. She does this one move in the movies. She's horrible, and she does it all the time. You know, she's not. She's a little kid. It's fine that she wants. School plays are great. Camp productions are great. Do I need them on the screen? Never in my life. The best child actor is Kramer versus Kramer, and all that kid does is act like a little shit. You know, I don't need it. It's not helping acting. Who cares? But doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how many kids say they got abused. You know what I'm saying? Americans don't change. They don't change at all. Anyway, I made a funny movie about lawns and I brought it to Edinburgh.
Yes. No, this is fantastic. Okay, so speaking of the funny movie about lawns, we're coming up. We're going to go to a little break and come back. So I want to give. I mean, we've already kind of dived. There we go into it a little bit. And I'm curious about, kind of in brief, how this came about. Because looking at you've got kind of a wild series of things behind you. And you mentioned the Pet Saga documentaries, which are possibly the most analogous thing. Your IMDb says that you started in the world of stand-up at 16 after pausing it for film school, and then you turned to stop motion for joke telling, saying, stand-up is for old men. It's an old man job. And
yeah, it's an old man job.
Yes, and podcasts and films and things. So what kind of led to, because this is a huge project, really. You got so many people on board for this. What was the kind of genesis of this movie?
I mean, anyone that's lived in America, I grew up in the suburbs. Cleveland is kind of a suburbs. Anyone that's lived in a city in America, you're not immune. Do you know how many, we say it in the credits, do you know how many people reached out when we said we're doing leaf blowers? Boston, Los Angeles, New York City, Chicago, those places don't need leaf blowers. People reached out from all of those cities saying we have leaf blowers. There's a person from Hawaii. There's leaf blowers in Hawaii. This is an American thing. And it's just horrible. And it is killing the environment. It's the equivalent of, in the UK, you don't have the same commuter culture. But in the US, you might drive an hour or more, depending on traffic too, to work. It is the equivalent of 5 million cars worth of pollution, lawns. And we adjusted that. There have been other stats over the years where people looked at this emissions report, and we wanted to actually look at the emissions report. It was taken in 2022 or 2021. I can't remember, like a year or two before we started the film. They had come up with a higher number. We had lowered that number because that number included snow blowers and gas chainsaws. We said that wasn't relevant to lawns. We're just going to do mowers and leaf blowers. 5 million cars. So that's numbers bigger for all the bullshit people do on their lawns. But the ecologists we talk to say we don't need to focus on the lawns, even though it's the equivalent of 5 million commuter cars. That's making everyone in the state of Alabama or Colorado stop driving. If you stopped driving in those states, because it's 0.2% of the emissions problem in America. And that's how they see it. But localized noise is a problem. Noise pollution is a problem. And they're doing less and less and less about it. It affects every American, every single place they live. And most of them don't like it. Most of them are doing it out of fear. And they don't want to change it. That shows why Americans do what they do. It shows why we do what we do. And everyone relates to it. There is no issue if you watch the whole film and then go and tell people about it. There's no issue that someone is working in, that is their job, that is their impediment in life, that is their focus in life. There's no issue that lawns don't touch, that don't have a relation to. We can play a little game, see what the worst thing in your life is, and see how, what we can relate it to lawns in America. It's touched everyone, and people want to see change. The people we've involved, Chuck Nice is big on the environment. He's on one of the biggest platforms. It's on one of the biggest platforms to talk about science. Is anything changing? Because Chuck Nice shows up to the episodes of Star Talk and brings it and wants those environmental episodes to be great. Is anything changing? Is any American doing anything? That's how it came up, and then we wanted to make it funny. So we felt there was a Penn and Teller episode, a TV show called Bullshit, that touched on it briefly. Right. It was not really what we wanted to do. We wanted to get into the deeper elements of it, not the history. Lots of people want to talk about the history of lawn mowing, which I don't know. I made a whole movie about lawns, and that's too boring for even me. But people like that stuff. They like those little Snapple facts. So I get it. But it just wasn't our film, and this film hadn't been made. People don't want to take a stance on it. I'll tell you the example that really starts it for me, that makes you understand why I want to do it. Story about a friend of mine. He's a person of color. This person was obsessed with their lawn and would yell at people when they got off their lawn. And I have OCD. We cut this conversation, but we had this discussion about, I did those things about something else with my OCD in public.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a lawn. I screamed at kids. I called the cops. I was obsessed with I don't know, my boots that I kept outside. I kept some pair of boots outside my house, and I was always adjusting them and arranging them and making sure people didn't get too close to them and yelling at the mailman if they walked on the boots. You would say this person's mentally ill. I mean, you would. I think a lot of them do have undiagnosed anal retention problems, which I don't say undiagnosed OCD. I'm not a doctor. But, you would say that's a mentally ill person, but it's accepted. Yeah. It's socially acceptable. Yeah, that's the reason, is there's no end to how crazy you can act. And this is coming from I just want to say, it's our word, not yours. I have a diagnosis. I can say crazy and insane. But, there's no limit to what behavior you're allowed to do. And make no mistake. If you cover for people when they're acting, because I'll say this as a crazy person, if you allow people when they're feeling crazy to act crazy, it becomes the norm. Yeah. Household abuse used to be the norm. Hitting your wife used to be the norm. And we stopped at a certain point. And you could have just kept on generations of wife beaters and things like that. But we didn't. Now, are lawns as bad as hitting your wife? Definitely not. There's not even a need to have a funny debate about it. But there's abuse does come up in the discussion about lawns and communal spaces and stuff like that. I mean, it does touch on it. It's all there. And that's the reason. There's no one that's not affected. And you think Americans aren't going to invade your country because you told them why not to? They won't stop mowing their lawns. You have no hope. You have no hope. You have no hope. You think they're going to sit at a table and agree with you? They're going to do what they want no matter what they want to do, and they're all nuts. That's a commercial break, I'd say.
And that's an incredible commercial break. Well, I was going to say, as Mike has just made very clear, there's no chance you should be going away during this break and going, I'm not going to listen to the rest of this podcast. It's nothing to do with me. Because it has got something to do with you. No matter who you are or what you're doing, it affects almost every part of your life. So come back and we will dive some more into the show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the middle section. This is kind of an interesting scenario I'm in here, because, well, if you listened last time, you'll know I'm now under arrest for bomb threats, which is not fair. It is a big misunderstanding. But you, sir, I don't necessarily know your name, but you've been very kind. You know, I'm sitting here. You've let me record this middle section, so this is goes to show. A cab, except for you, I guess.
I'm so sorry. Were you talking to me?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I'm not really concentrating on you. I'm trying to fly this helicopter.
Oh.
You said you're recording something.
Yes. This thing is a microphone. I make a podcast. Yes.
Say, what's your name?
My name's Patrick.
Patrick. I don't know. Yes. Maybe this is a shot in the dark, but you're not Patrick O'Connell from Never As Funny.
What? That's me.
Oh, what joy! What absolute unadulterated joy! What a pleasure to meet you, sir. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. So is my son.
Fan?
He wants to be a comedian too, just like you. I've told him he's not funny.
wow.
He's not funny, Patrick. I'll tell you, he's not funny. But he wants to be a comedian like you. I've told him no, he has to be a helicopter pilot like me, or I'll abandon him on the side of the road. But you know what? Talking to you in the last 30 seconds or whatever has really made me reconsider. Maybe I'll let him be a comedian. Maybe I'll let him be, or at least tell a joke every now and again. I won't laugh though, Patrick. He's not funny. I've told him he's not funny.
I'm blown away. I mean, I'm sorry about your son. I can't relate because I'm very, very funny. But
I know.
I'm blown. I mean, I kind of always say, I big myself up a lot, and I'm like, this show's got a lot of fans. But to be honest with you, I'll get my editor to get rid of this part. But I get kind of insecure about this show, so it's nice to hear that you like it.
Oh, you certainly shouldn't be. It's absolutely amazing getting comedians to be themselves, to talk about their work. It's actually excellent.
Wow.
Although, if I may critique just a little bit, positive,
you don't have to,
constructive criticism, all that kind of thing. I don't really get those middle sections you do.
Right.
When you always go, "Oh, welcome to the middle of the show," and it always seems like they're trying to be funny, but there's never any actual jokes in them. And really, it's quite confusing to me because you're playing yourself. You're you, but you're not really you. You're always some kind of weird, arrogant, heelish version of yourself that everybody hates. And I just...
Heelish?
To me, it seems like the show's more about the guests, right? Talking to the guests about their comedy. But you do these weird middle sections. It just seems to me that's taking the focus away from the whole concept of the podcast. But, that's just me thinking on my feet. I don't really know what I'm just a simple helicopter pilot.
yeah, that's right. Yes, sort of like stay in your lane in the sky. That sort of thing. I mean,
that's right, my lane up here, the only lane that anyone should care about. God's lane.
God's lane. Excellent. Okay, well, I do think the middle sections are very great. Some people don't appreciate it, and you kind of have to have a certain level of IQ, I would say. But I'll admit, I don't.
Right, below 100. Understood.
Yeah, something like that. But I'm kind of unsure where to go with this one, to be honest. I don't know if I mean, you listen to the show. Do you have any suggestions?
Well, to me, I think a really good middle section would depend on maybe who the guest is. It should relate to the guest of the show, don't you think?
Okay, yeah. So the guy I've spoken to is like, he's made sort of an anti-lawn documentary. It's called the...
Anti-lawn? Whoa! What a great concept.
Yeah.
I mean, me personally, I'm actually very pro-lawns, but what a concept.
Oh, okay. No, hold on. I'm getting there's a light bulb going off for me. Because I would like to... I'm kind of working on my humbleness. I'm a very humble person, but you can always get better. Normally, I'd be like, I can do better than my guest. I'd like to meet, his name's Mike. I'd like to meet Mike in the middle here, maybe, to kind of make my own documentary, because, both sides are always important. Sitting on the fence is the best place to be, because you're higher up than people on either side.
I've got to disagree, my friend. I think sitting in a helicopter is the best place to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the fence of the sky, I suppose.
Oh, well, when you put it like that, consider me in. What's your plan?
Okay, plan. Yeah, that's right. You're very pro lawns. Why don't I make a little documentary here? I can interview you, give your takes on what's good about lawns.
I see you want some pro lawn takes. I'm definitely your man for that. Ask away, sir.
Brilliant. Welcome to this documentary. I'm speaking to... what is your name? What?
I'm Mr. H. Pilot.
Fair enough. Mr. A.H. Pilot, you are a police helicopter pilot. You are someone who's very outspoken about lawns. Mike Fallek, my guest, is very anti-lawn. And I think one of his biggest criticisms is that there's kind of big culture of it in America, but it's actually not great for the environment. What would you say to that?
Well, here's what you've got to know about a lawn. Mm-hmm. The lawn is the most fundamental part of the universe. What came before roads, before humans, before dinosaurs, before asteroids, before mountains? It was the lawn. If we look objectively at the Earth, pre-mountains, there was grass. There were lawns, there were
Right.
big lawns, there were small lawns, there were middle lawns, there were uncut lawns, there were mowed lawns. I tell you, on that subject, actually.
Mowed lawns.
Yes,
What,
prehistoric mowed lawns.
Well, how is that possible?
You know what, I can't get into the science of it exactly, but nature always made sure to mow a couple lawns. There was, if you look back at prehistoric photographs, there were short grass. I saw them myself.
You saw them. Whoa,
I'll tell you something else, Patrick, on the subject. There's nothing one can do that is more fulfilling in this world than to mow a lawn. Nothing that really brings more purpose into one's life, one's purpose on this planet, on this earth, than to mow a lawn. Mowing the lawn is the only thing one can do to really make your miserable life worthwhile. A lawn is only long so that it can be cut short.
Right. I mean, you say miserable. You seem like kind of a happy guy, but you work in the helicopter business. So what would you say that you're miserable? Would you be miserable if you didn't have lawns to cut?
Of course. If you think about it, if you really think about it for a second, Patrick, you can see I'm in a helicopter because I want to fly high into the sky and mow God's lawn. You know how you touch the face of God? I want to mow the lawn of God.
Okay. I can't use any of it. I thought this was going to make me look good. I thought it was going to be my big comeback before you take me to prison. And you made me look like a fucking idiot. I mean, I don't know what. You are a crazy person, okay, which is slightly frightening because you're currently driving a vehicle very high up. What do you know about lawns in America? I mean, you're British, and you're a police helicopter pilot. This is
okay.
Stupid
I've got
idea.
to, Patrick, my dear friend, long-time friend, Patrick.
Okay.
I've been needing to tell you something. I have a secret. You said I'm a British police helicopter pilot? Well, the truth is,
okay,
I am British, but I'm not a police helicopter pilot.
Okay.
I like helicopters a lot, you see, and I just kind of wanted to get in one, and I don't technically own or have a license. So
okay, what like you're kind of like contracted by the police? What does that mean?
Nearly, almost like that, but I stole it. Look, don't be mad, Patrick. We're kind of breaking the law here, together in arms. We're brothers, Patrick. You're on my side now. Together we will mow the lawn of the law.
Oh boy. Okay. Look, I'll tell you, I'm not mad at all. And you don't need to worry about that. I am quite frightened. I mean, is this you like comedy,
Patrick,
right?
Are you nervous? You sound like you're stuttering. There's really no need to be afraid. I know exactly how to fly a helicopter. There's buttons.
That's great.
There's a little stick you waggle around to see how I waggle it here.
Oh, whoa.
Okay, well that has made the helicopter slightly unhappy with me, but I'm sure that's what you're
unhappy. It's a helicopter. It's an inanimate object.
No.
You lost your marbles, man. This is. I want to land. Can we land somewhere?
We're going to land. Don't you worry. Eventually, it's going to run out of fuel.
Oh fuck. Okay.
I'm so sorry, Patrick. I would land it before we run out of fuel. I just don't know how yet. As I say, we're going up. Gonna reach the heavens, mow the lawn of God, and then we'll find out what happens afterwards. I even brought a parachute just so I could get out of here.
The parachute, great. Is there how many?
One of us will be absolutely fine. I brought a parachute. I brought a parachute, Patrick.
We'll deal with that issue when we get to it. I am slightly concerned. Well, I'm very concerned.
What are you worried about? That they're going to find out that I stole a helicopter? They're not going to miss a helicopter. There
are planes. Those are planes. You've put. I can see. I don't know how you managed to put a fucking wing mirror on this. Yeah, I can see this wing mirror that you've clearly fucking duct taped on.
Those are unrelated planes. They're probably also fans of the sky, just like you and me.
Attention.
We're brothers,
we
Patrick.
know that you stole this aircraft. You are to land immediately.
I think that's about a different helicopter. I think we're fine, Patrick.
We have been instructed by His Majesty's Government of the United Kingdom to warn you that if you do not respond immediately to my orders, you will be shot down.
Should we just keep flying as if nothing's happening? I think that's...
Something's
that wasn't about us, right? That was about a different helicopter. That wasn't
Just to
about us.
clarify, I am addressing this specific helicopter.
Patrick, I'm beginning to think it was about our helicopter.
Yeah, I think it is.
Well, all right, Patrick, no need to overreact. I'm trying to work with you here, okay? Ever since we broke the law together a couple of minutes ago, I'm your brother, Patrick.
I'm not complicit. I'm not your brother. I don't.
All right, look.
I don't want to share.
Since we're such good brothers, I will do you a favor, my friend. This is what I've always wanted. This is what God would want me to do with his lawn. You are going to take the parachute. The parachute. You're going to take my parachute and you're going to jump out of here and you're going to be safe. And I am going to take this helicopter up into the heavens and mow the lawn of God. Just you watch.
But you like the podcast. I mean...
Oh, Patrick, you can deal with 25% less fans. Don't you worry.
25. Okay.
You have been...
You'll always have my son, you understand? He's obsessed with comedy.
God forgive us. Not for firing these missiles, but for how much we will enjoy.
Okay.
There's no time, Patrick. You've got to go. There's no time,
Yeah.
okay? Here's the buzzer.
Okay.
Strap that on. You've got to get out of here.
Thank you
You've
for
got to
coming.
go. I'll
Thank you
see
for
you on
coming
the
on
other
the show.
side, my friend.
Goodbye. Back to the show.
Goodbye!
Welcome back, everybody. So we are diving into. I don't remember if we must have mentioned the name of this documentary. It's The Lawn Con.
Yeah.
I didn't actually realize it was a pun until I said it out loud.
Yeah, we didn't know if the pun flies in the UK. Does it?
Let me say it. The Lawn Con. The Lawn Con. Not as much.
Do people say the long con here? Playing the long con?
I think playing the long con would fly. But thinking about it, I don't know if pronouncing lawn works the same way. So maybe you should, if you do it again here, you could add like some text in brackets which says like pronounce with an American accent in your head.
We had other titles. Don't be a grass hole. Which inspired a series of ass puns. Pain in the grass.
Pain in the grass is the other one.
Pain in the grass was good. We sometimes put it as that. I'm trying to think if there were other grass-based lawn pun things. But yeah, that's our movie. It's so we've screened it at Fringe. We did like a Q&A,
Yes.
which we're going to tour around and hopefully do this Q&A again.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, hold on one second. We are in a nice hostel in... Not hostel.
Oh, right.
It's like a and so that's the reason for the sound. And despite us telling them we would require no housekeeping, they've knocked every day for us. So that's nice of them.
Oh, this is the proper candid Fringe experience, I think.
Oh, yeah. This is the last day of Fringe right now. We're heading out. You've lived the rock and roll Fringe lifestyle. How late were you up last night?
Just indefinitely. Last night
You're
has
just still up.
Yeah, ended for me, yeah.
Yeah.
But for me, I mean, I'm not even at Fringe. That's just like podcast.
It's a lifestyle choice, yeah.
But yeah.
So we screened it here, and you can watch it on YouTube. It's on YouTube, the full thing.
Yes.
Because we want the message to be out there. But we're going to go around and do these sort of Q&A, Kevin Smith style talking tours. We only did one night here, which was very hard to get people to go to because, basically people count on the idea that I'll be able to see it tomorrow night. So we managed to get a pretty good crowd. It was a lot of fun telling people about this, especially in the UK.
Yeah. But
The Lawn Con, a documentary about lawns. So that's the title. It's on YouTube, The Lawn Con.
Yes, it is. And I'll drop things to that in the show notes. I mean, it's such a broad thing. I don't know where to start. I mean, you said you were interested in these things and that you wanted to make something covering all of it. What was the kind of when did you start putting this thing together? What was the process like for making this?
I've been making stuff about lawn content for a while.
Okay.
And we tried to work it into things for a while, but we never really, kind of everything we did ended up faulting on the side of it being a background detail. And, projects being what they are, you don't get enough time to spend on certain stuff. And we had finished one project on it, and me and my writing partner, Bill, kind of looked at each other and said, yeah, but we haven't really done the thing where we just tell people all about this. So we then started, and then we brought Chuck and Ice in, and we brought in all of our experts and filmed and finished it in close to 9 months.
Right.
And then, I'd say 3 weeks after our finishing the cut, We looked into Fringe. We found a place that would screen us and take us in, and we went to Fringe. So it's all been I've had very little time to sit at home with this film and send it to people and whatever, because then it became full Fringe premiere time and making that happen. So It was a very, very quick turnaround of things. I mean, I made a documentary a few years ago, right before COVID, about dieting, called Telephone Dieting.
Okay.
And that was the last live action documentary I made. And so it was also time to make a live action documentary as well, to get the cameras out and make something really cool. So those are all the sort of studio kind of pieces of information that fall in place. You know, we have this story. No one's done the story the way we've done it. It's an interesting story, and we have the resources to make it. We need something to update the company profile to make sure that people know we still make these types of things. So you then go and do it. And we jumped full into it. And I drove around Ohio and the US, meeting different people, someone who had written a book on lawns, depressingly enough, close to 30 years ago at this point, all about the things we're saying. And if you can believe it, their book was not the only one. So they were a part of a team of Yale students that wrote a full book about what they call the industrial lawn, which is the way we know lawns in America. And there's someone else that has a book. So this is not a new subject by any means.
Yeah.
The EPA, which is being gutted right now, has, you know, reports as far back as the 50s. So what is that? How old is that now? That's getting close to 80 years.
Yeah.
That we've known about noise pollution, lawnmower gas pollution, the disbenefits of cutting lawns and things like that, the disbenefits of this environmentally for 70 years.
Yeah.
I'd be a fucking loser if I thought I could change something at this point. You know, it's too late for them. It's too late for them. They're not going to do it anymore. And the problem is you need basically every boomer to die, because the boomer generation thinks that it improves the cost of their home. And that's one of my favorite parts of the film. We looked at these studies. First of all, if you go and you look at a study on the internet that says this improves the cost of your loan, what it says is that landscaping improves the cost of your home. Most of them don't cite any real studies. So if I were to really eviscerate the blogs that post this stuff, I would say, well, you're citing yourself, because your blog cites this blog, which cites this blog, which ultimately cites you.
Yeah.
And so it's fake. It's totally fake. Again, this is, you know, not spoilers for the film. You can go watch it. What improves the cost of your lawn is just spending a ton on your house. If you put up gardening stuff, if you put up bushes, which people don't do, that improves the cost of your home. Not having a mown lawn. That is ridiculous. That's a ridiculous idea. But that's what they think. They're all addicted to these mortgages that they have, and they want them to pay out for them. They're not gonna. And they'll deal with that in the end. It's, you know, it's ridiculous. That's why they're doing it 100%, because they think they'll be rich one day. You know,
it comes
that's how the Americans work
all the time. I mean, it sounds like as well, because this almost sort of like tongue-in-cheek nihilism and distance you have from it.
Yeah,
sounds like it was actually probably very useful, because I think if you went into this with like, this is how I'm going to fix it, and this has got to make a big difference. It sounds like doing that, you would have kind of fallen apart. But it sounds like because you went into it with this awareness, I'm going into this to record and to document.
I'll go a step further.
Allowed you to cover it.
The experts told me it doesn't matter. The experts, you know, if I had gone into it with any optimism, I would have walked in the room and said, are you trying to really get people to think that the problem with the environment is personal responsibility? That was what one person said to me. I said, no, I don't think that at all. You know, I think that is a big thing that people do, these plastic bags and the don't litter movement of the 60s and 70s. These are well-reviled things that don't have any real bearing on what happens. You know, the plastic bag thing was the fault of recyclers. It was the fault of garbage men. They've never paid any penalty for the plastic bag problem. You have. You pay for it when you go to do whatever, and that's great. I'm in favor of less plastic bags, but we don't punish the people who do it, and they can take the punishment. You know, it's sort of this idea that like we're going to stop industry if we tell people to do it better. It's ridiculous. That never happens. It always opens up new industries. To do industry cleaner and better, it opens up new industries. That's how it works. And I'm very angry right now, but the movie is very funny. But they told us, no, it doesn't matter. I disagree. I do think it does matter to a certain extent. Noise pollution is an absolute terror. I can do the funny fact here. Misophonia, which is a hypersensitivity to sound, affects 1 in 5 people. That is more than most STDs combined in America. Which means noise pollution is more relevant than sexual health. I mean, it doesn't. That's a stupid thing to say. That's a Freakonomics way of saying it, but it is more relevant. There's more people on your block that are, dealing with noise pollution than there are people going to Planned Parenthood to get a test because it's not relevant to them. Yeah. So to me, I think it is relevant. And the noise pollution is particularly relevant. The ecology part of it, of the pollinators and stuff like that, is particularly relevant. But there are Goliaths, so they want to go that way. And it is bullshit to tell someone like you're causing the environmental problems. But it's also bullshit to say that if you're not going to then tell people to do anything. It's like, oh yeah, it's bullshit. So what are we doing to the corporations? Oh, nothing. They're basically getting to do whatever they want. Okay. So then we have to do something on our end. In the UK, it's not an issue. It really isn't an issue. Your gas is way more expensive. You couldn't afford to do it.
Right.
You couldn't afford to run a gas lawnmower every day. I mean, they use gallons and gallons of gas. I do think your neighbors probably would hate you. And I know being approved of by people in the UK is very important. Versus the US, it becomes this badge of courage.
I was going to say badge of honor. Yeah.
Hell, I'm doing the right thing. There's a word for it in cults. I'm forgetting the term. But basically like found righteousness. It actually emboldens people to be wrong, not the other way around. But yeah, no, it's not an issue anywhere else. It truly is not an issue. It doesn't affect other countries, but it is a problem. But we wanted to be really funny about it, and there's a lot of funny comedians. Speaking of Regina Melzer, who just did a sold-out show at Hollywood Fringe, she was here with us in the UK, and we're trying to make this stuff funny because if you can show your dad in America that he sucks ass, if you can actually start to tell people, because it's like, what are you going to do at this point if you live with a Republican parent? Well, let's say a Republican dad, a cisgendered Republican dad. What are you going to do? You going to tell them any of this stuff? Or maybe you're going to get them to change the way they do the lawn. He'd still be out there doing bullshit. They'd find something to do. In fact, there would be more stuff to do to get away from your wife that you hate than there would be if you there's more stuff to do with a non-traditional lawn. There's much more. Or there's nothing to do. And maybe you can talk to your wife and get a divorce and be happy for once in a life and have time to sit down and talk about how you're going to split the assets. Because why should you have to do all this stuff? People are not out every day in their gardens here in the UK. They aren't. We were excited when we came here. Let's see what the first Sunday is like in Edinburgh. Yeah. People are not out there doing stuff. It's not a thing. But the point about it is that you probably have an issue that I don't understand because I haven't lived here that is affecting your country, that is this way, that you're not doing anything about, that people won't give up. It could be something as stupid as you're big tea drinkers here. Is there any reason we're not using loose leaf? What is with the proliferation of bagged teas? Is that causing millions of pounds of pollution every year? I've been slamming against the flyers here at Fringe. Every piece of paper, if you print like a standard piece of printer paper, uses a cup and a half of water.
Yeah.
Every ream, which is when you buy that pack of paper for your printer, uses 20 to 50 gallons of water, depending on the type of paper.
Right.
And so how much, maybe that's the next movie, is how much are tea bags, not only the bag, but then the little thing, some of them come with that little tag at the back, the little toe tag for your body that's attached to it with the label on it. Maybe there is an issue that you can do stuff with.
I mean, if that is the case and you make a movie kind of taking down tea bag, I would be so for that. One of the things that annoys me the most about the UK is the whole nobody makes tea like us. You've got to have proper tea and you've got to put it in the thing. Americans don't put it in the microwave. That's ridiculous. You have to have a proper tea. It's fucking tea, and it's not as good as coffee. It's my take on that. So if it turns out that it's also has a massive negative effect on the environment, that would be a silver lining for me, as if it could be used to take down that institution.
Well, it's imported. You can start there. There's a post-credit scene where I talk about people taking down chocolate. There's always, I'll just do it verbatim. There's always a thing like chocolate uses this many gallons of water. It's like, but I think we can agree chocolate may be worth it. Are lawns worth it? Is tea worth it? It's shipped in. It can't be grown here in the UK. Yeah. It's got to be grown basically in tropical Asia, as far as I know. it's shipped in from miles and miles and miles away for something that, yeah, I would agree. They have a certain, to think that there's somehow it's better because it's here versus another couple 1,000 miles, across the sea is also pretentious. But, at least it's for something people like. At least it's for something people like versus I genuinely do believe so I don't say OCD, so we can do the PSA here. I don't say OCD. I don't like when people say, oh, I'm OCD about this. What you can say, and but not because I'm offended. I also am fine with you calling me crazy and insane, because I am. If you call me crazy and insane, I have a mental health problem. Maybe you'll treat mental health people like they're sick. I've been in favor of giving everyone, when they get a mental health diagnosis, a cane for the first week. Right. So that people get that you're sick.
Like a signifier.
Or like a mask or something to be like, no, it's real, so that people get it. These are the hot takes of being mentally ill. This is our humor. I can say it, you can't. But what you can say, and this will show you why the world becomes OCD, is you can say that you're anal retentive. Yeah. But people are afraid of their own assholes, which is the whole point of anal retention, is we're afraid to say we have a butt. We're afraid to say that we poop. You've this society thing ingrained in you. And so you've taken our word, OCD, which you shouldn't do, because you don't want to say anal retentive. I think there is an anal retentive problem with this stuff. I think people legitimately, when they see someone else not mowing their lawn, so here's how it works. Here's how OCD works. When you're a kid, do you know the phrase, Patrick? I don't know if you go by Patrick or Patty. What do you, Pat? What do you go by?
Anything. I'm good with anything.
Choose one, Patrick.
Let's go with Patty this time. I don't.
Patty? Here's the deal, Patty. Right. When you're a kid, if you ever hear this phrase, you're born naked and you die naked. You ever heard that? Have you heard that phrase? You're born naked and you'll die. You're born alone and you'll die alone.
I've heard I've never heard you'll be born naked and die naked.
You've heard born alone. Born alone and die alone is my favorite one, because it obviously is a wonderful woman hating phrase. Anyone who thinks they are born alone doesn't really know how born works. You're born alone except for that stupid woman who was there, but she doesn't count. She gets paid 75% what I do to be a baby. So but people will say this, you're born naked and you die naked. You're born alone, you die alone. It's not true. You're born in a society. Humans cannot survive as feral animals. They cannot. Your head is too big and your arms are too small. You'll die. So you're born into a society. And basically what happens is Homo sapien did not invent pants. Pants were invented by way before another human species. So you were born with a need to not shit in your pants, because we wear pants. So when you're young, ingrained in our DNA in society is you rear children to not shit in their pants. It's unsanitary. They'll get sick. They'll die, right? So you clean after them. And then once they're able to understand language, whatever that may be, I always imagine cavemen speaking English like a proper American. But, so you speak caveman English to your kid and you tell them how to clean themselves and not, shit in the bed and do all these different things. That actually affects people deeply. This was a big part of what Freud thought. Everyone talks about sex with Freud, but Freud was big into understanding that your anal retention, that word comes from your ass. It comes from cleaning your ass, making sure you have a clean ass so that you don't offend other humans who would then think you're unclean and a danger to society and not want to mate or be around you, right? But parents are objectively the worst. So what happens is your parenting or society makes you feel certain ways about cleanliness and things like that. Now, that may not be related to your actual cleanliness. It may be related to your sense of cleanliness. And it may not come from your parents. It may come from societies and the where you grow up and those people's sense of what is right and good and proper and clean. And it affects you that way. And I think that people do have a problem with lawns in America because they have a huge anal retention problem. They may have OCD where they see your lawn as unclean. They see you as not doing their chore, their errand. It goes to this primal level of thinking your duty is going to get on their hands.
Yes.
And that's where I think a lot of it comes from. And on the other side of mental health, what if you have accessibility options that are not limited to your mobility? What if you have a hard time with executive function? What if you can't go out and do it that often? Well, nature and the housing market would say it doesn't fucking matter. But your neighbors in America, if your listeners don't know, they can call the town. They can call the office of the mayor is actually what you call. And they can come and that's real, because that's the housing department is also run by the mayor in most cities. Right. And the mayor's office will send out someone to give you a ticket for having a bad lawn. We didn't look into, it's a real thing. It's a real absolute thing. We didn't look into, I said this at the screening too. I don't know if you can get a bench warrant. If you have enough debt with the government, you can get like a bench warrant where like you're technically under arrest for not paying enough tickets, which is certainly enough to shoot someone in America if you have a bench warrant. So we don't know if there's been any cases of police brutality, RE lawns, but it's certainly possible. It's certainly possible that some state moved that debt to somewhere else and whatever. It's very possible. We haven't looked into it because we already were dealing with, these laws were invented to be racist, to say you can afford a home. Well, can you afford the upkeep? It's a racist law on its face. Absolutely. Classist and racist, which are linked together. Yeah. It links to what's like, I did this on another show I was on, or another podcast I was on. What's like the worst thing going on in your life? We'll see if it relates to lawns if you were an American.
It's tricky because I'm very ADHD. I should clarify as you did.
Oh, you have ADHD.
I should clarify as you did, literally. Oh, yeah. There we go. Yeah. Let's go with that.
If you had ADHD in America, executive function is a huge symptom of ADHD, as is being calm during social interactions, right? There's a certain... I have a lot of ADHD podcaster friends. I'm surprised they have me on and can listen to me for so long. But if you have executive dysfunction, you don't get around to it. Your neighbors are going to like you less. Then they're going to confront you and you're going to have problems with focusing, with emotional management, and you might get angry. And so now you're the angry, crazy person who doesn't mow their lawn, and suddenly you're isolated from your neighbors. And that's not because you're a bad person, but because you have some sort of issue. Executive dysfunction is one of the most common symptoms of a mental health diagnosis.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And there you go. You're fucked. It affects every if you're a person of color, absolutely, because they can call about your lawn, right? Yes. Or are they calling about your lawn? Jews and things like that too. In America, it is still legal to exclude Jewish and black people from golf country clubs, which are obviously linked to lawns and things like that. They just stopped because a bunch of female golfers were like, I can play here when it's a tournament and earn you millions of dollars, but then the next week you wouldn't admit me. They just put social pressure on. We talked to an anthropologist, but I don't think that's what she goes by, like RE the study, or what she would go by. But we talked about this. She did this great study where she tried to get into country clubs. And, now that race sort of in a quote unquote approaching post-racist world, how would she be discriminated against in an instance where people but don't want to say out loud, you're not allowed in because you're a woman. So it was a great study. And we talked about, to confirm these things, you have to academically prove these things to say, well, we all know people are racist and won't let you into country clubs, but do we have a study on it? Do we have a proof on it? That's a big part of this too, is it's one of these issues that people are like, I know. Yeah. Oh, I know. And it's like, do you know? And can you prove it? And can we show it in a way that actually convinces people? Because if you know the stuff that I know, you wouldn't be so blasé about it. And it's like, I know dozens of people that are going to watch this, that their parents live in the suburbs and they have a home, and they're not going to say shit to their parents because millennials are a bunch of cowardly idiots. What else is our stupid thing that Adam Sandler writes about us? We're lazy. I just saw a Simpsons episode where they did this hackneyed joke. Whatever it is, you know what it is? We have no power. We have no authority because these idiots are running everything. We are anti-boomer, even though we have a boomer as we have one of the good ones. I guess I can make that joke. You can't. But, our bigger discussion is like, yes, I seem very bombastic, but like everybody talks to me. I'm really good. I'm a journalist. Everybody talks to me. Everybody wants an interview. It's easy to talk to people. People don't talk to each other. People are more willing to call the town, the city, an authority figure, rather than go over and be like, what's going on? Do you need help? What can I do for your lawn? Why does it look this way?
Yes, absolutely.
We had so many relations of these confrontations where people coming up, yelling, screaming, intimidating, calling police about lawns. And it's because people don't want to talk. And so why don't people confront their parent, someone who owns a home or whatever, their neighbor? They don't know how. They have no ability to do it. And they have no ability to see it as an example of going and talking to people. And yet what we sell it as is, oh yeah, that's the way it is. And even to sell it as like, we need to change the law, right? Like, that doesn't seem like a solution. Do you know how hard it is to change a law?
Yeah.
It's wild. So it's more of a thing of like, if you make something, not to be like, I don't like fence sitters. Like, we went drinking here, and I'm only going to say that this guy's Irish because it's funny the way that he said it to me. It was like we were drinking, we were hanging out, and he goes, "Hey, give us a free Palestine." I go, yeah, because he knew I was American. Yeah, give us a fuck Trump. And I was like, yeah, fuck Trump. Like, people don't want to have those conversations, especially in America, where you just say you actually virtue signal and talk to people and have conversations, and you say, I don't want to talk to you if you like that person. I don't want to talk to you, because fence sitting is bullshit.
Yes,
it is bullshit. That's not what this movie is. This movie is to say, we'll give you an interesting in. If we can fill the thing with Snapple facts for every scenario that you have, and talk to someone and get an in with people to have a conversation, and a funny in, and to say, oh, this is a funny movie that I can watch, or it was a funny Q&A that we went and saw. People are more open to that than, screaming at someone who's going to vote against abortions to tell them that they don't know anything about laws. And of course they're going to scream back, and it's only going to embolden both of you. Satire isn't working. It's not working. I love Jon Stewart. It's not working. No one on the right is watching Jon Stewart. They just aren't. I don't believe in fair and equal either. I don't believe in fair and equal coverage. I think that that's for a time when people don't have hate speech. So,
100%. Yeah.
We took this issue when, in a time when it's like, this is something we can do, and this can open up lines of communication, and you will learn why it's hard to change people, because it's mostly white people that do this stuff. They're in no danger. They could fill their lawns with bowling balls, and there would be no consequence for them really in their life.
Yeah.
So you have to find a way to actually talk to people. And we have this trope, this is being from America, of Thanksgiving, of, we're going to have a Thanksgiving and everyone's going to talk to them.
Yeah.
Do you know what the healthier people from the millennial generation are doing? Just don't go. Why would I go and hang out with these people at Thanksgiving if I'm going to have to listen? Oh, you've got to listen to your racist aunt. Do I? Do I?
Absolutely.
Why? Why am I going to eat this meal, which I don't eat giant roasted bird any other time of the year, or cranberries? Why would I go and have this meal with people I don't like, that I don't care about and disagree with? And many people are breaking down the family home, which is probably due to all of our devilish ways, but they're breaking down the family unit because it doesn't make sense to do anymore.
Yeah.
And that's one way to do it. Or if you're going to go, talk about something that's approachable, because Aunt Judy is not changing their gun opinion. You know what I mean? They're going to keep them. But you could talk about lawns. They won't change them either, but you could have an in to something relatable.
That's fantastic. I think, you can't get into Aunt Judy with guns or global warming, but you might be able to get to her with lawns. I really like that.
Yeah.
Now, I'm slightly conscious of view of time, which is a shame.
We have a bit more,
because I could very easily sit here and just have this be a 12-hour podcast, because I'm loving this. But I think now might be a good point to drop a little. It normally just be like a sample of your work. You sent me a couple of things, so it might make sense for it to be. I know you sent the trailer, or if there's a particular clip from the long con that you might like. Well,
I know you do this as 5 minutes, so I think what we can drop is that hand sketch I sent you from Newgrounds.
Yes,
that started as a radio sketch that a friend of ours at the Stage Select podcast, they had just mentioned this joke to me. And then me and my writing partner, Bill, recorded it. Very good in audio. The trailer would be good too. And that'll lead up to be about 5 minutes, I think.
Fantastic. Okay, it's going to be a double bill of this Newgrounds sketch, which it does look like it has wonderful visuals. So I will attach so people can go and look at it. Same with the trailer. And give these two a listen. And we will be right back.
Mikey, baby, you're hot right now. You are really popular right now with the audience out there, and we have a great idea for you. Yeah. You, because you are popular and we want to get you even to more people, you need to do a cover of the song Tomato Tomato.
Got it. I know the song, Billy Boy. All right, you press record and here I go. A 1, a 2, a surely do. You say tomato, I say tomato. You say tomato, I say tomato.
All right, cut. I think there seems to be
Billy Boy. You got your knobs all mixed up there.
There's a little bit of a miscommunication.
I'm smoking 92 cigarettes at once.
I'm trying to push away some of the smoke. No, so it's tomato tomato.
Oh.
Tomato tomato.
Oh, I get. That's the whole thing of the song. Here I go. Count me in, Billy Boy. Won't happen again. A one, a two, a skittle. Do you say tomato? I say tomato. 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 Tomato.
Right,
Why are you saying it different than me?
No.
What?
All right. So the first word.
Yes, tomato.
Tomato. Second word. Tomato.
Tomato. That's what I said.
Tomato.
Tomato.
We're not saying the same thing.
Yes, we are. Hop.
No.
A chew. A doodle.
No. Stop. All right. No. First word.
Yeah.
First word is tomato.
Okay.
Second word is similar, but not entirely the same. It's tomato.
Okay. That's what I'm saying.
A different
What, is there a
pronunciation.
problem? I feel like we're just talking about the song.
I need you to
Bonding
say
over how much we love this song. Where we say tomato a million times. That's what people love about it. Oh, the next verse is even better. They just say potato over and over again.
We're not talking about potatoes here. We're talking about tomatoes and tomatoes.
You don't know the song. That's the second verse. Let me do it for you. Hop, a chew, a diddly-do. You say potato, I say potato. You say potato, everyone potato. Potato,
all right.
What
so
is the song about?
We're having a similar issue. I don't think we need to get to this
Don't
verse.
you stim me.
If you can't figure out the first verse, there's no point going to the second verse.
Let's focus on it. What's the problem?
So again, it's the pronunciation. You got the first part down pretty much 100%.
You know what it is? I sing with a lot of Italian guys. Maybe I'm saying it the way they say it. From the native country
I know
of
a lot of the same guys, and
they eat a lot of tomatoes there. Comes from China, the tomato. Historical inaccuracy. Okay, here we go. A one, a two, a doodly-doo. You say tomato, I say tomato. You say tomato, I say tomato. What's up? Billy Boy, we're doing great here.
We've achieved an interesting situation here. Now you seem to finally understand the other half of the problem from before.
Bill, you're really starting to push my buttons. Well, tomato. You say the first one. All right. Listen, I just need another 94 cigarettes. I'm hot.
This is my studio. I push the buttons. You do the singing. My buttons, your voice. Got it? Got it?
Explain it to me quick.
All right, cool. So, tomato, that was the part that I needed you to, that was the part you're doing great.
And the next one is tomato.
Now somehow, finally, that has gotten through to you, and you're saying tomato. But
I'm
you need
not
to say
hearing a difference.
Both.
To me,
you need to say both.
To me, tomato and tomato, am I doing it right? They sound the same. It might as well be like there should be an expression. Tomato, it's all the same to me, so I don't know whether I'm singing it correctly.
That is part of the heart of the song, yeah.
Well, it's still true. Let me try again. One, a two. You say potato, I say potato. You say potato, I say potato. Potato, 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 potato.
The real buzzing is about to begin.
Leaf blowers. I think they're the scourge of the whole universe.
Because it's a frickin' leaf.
It is a risk factor for different cardiovascular diseases.
A leaf.
The risk for diabetes, obesity, dementia, and even cancer.
It's leaves.
You have these values that align with lawns.
But it does get into a very important question, freedom.
Speaking of grass, what the hell else are we talking about here?
Not only does it work on my lawn, but it works on me at the same time.
Otherwise, they wouldn't be spraying soap and piss all over their lawn to get rid of deer.
It's reinforced economically through media and advertising.
It's stressful. It can cause hearing loss. It can cause deafness, anxiety. It can cause sleep issues, blood pressure problems.
Totally irrelevant to the lawn. But there you go.
So I'm sorry, Florida, for this one specific law that I thought you wouldn't do. There's other stuff.
The feelings inside. We were so happy once, and now it feels like we're watching something die.
I'm getting a whole quackle of ducks.
Yeah, we were right back.
Wow.
That was incredibly fast.
It was a journey, wasn't it?
It really was.
Did you like that?
I did. I think it's changed who I am as a person. I'm not entirely convinced I know what it means to be anymore, but
It was real. Your eyes got all dilated. It was crazy. Something happened to you, Patty.
It really did. And I do feel like I might have experienced some kind of intense ego death. But
yeah,
these
and some sort of acid reflux. I saw you grabbing your throat as well.
Oh yeah,
get some Tums for that.
That was a terrible feeling. But I think that might have just been. I'm susceptible to that. I don't think the listeners struggle with it.
Yeah. Don't worry about that. If you have, you can watch the film if you have. That's a specific thing to us.
It's an us issue. But yeah, so how about this? You mentioned you got a bit of time left. So normally I'd be like, let's wrap it up and do plugs. But I'm totally happy if you want to speak a bit more. And then if you like, you can decide when you need to go and drop some plugs for whatever it is you'd like to plug.
I think we plugged, basically the whole
That's true,
time.
yes.
So, the Lawn Con, and you can go watch it. Are there any segments we didn't get to because we just powered through this? I'm trying to think if there's anything that you sent me that we were supposed to do, but I don't think so. I think we got to everything.
No, pretty much. There's no specifics. Yeah, it's just anything, I guess, that you might like to mention, or...
Yeah, I'll tell you the movies I'm not going to make because no one will let me. How about that?
Yes, okay, this is a good segment.
We have the new movie idea that I want to make. That I probably shouldn't say out loud. I can tell you afterwards. But here's the ones I also want to make.
Okay.
Legitimately, I did pitch everyone fuck dogs as a just fuck dogs, who cares? And just to make it as like on the total other side of things, like just really trying to convince people dogs are not a plus to society in many ways. It is great that we have, accessibility dogs for people. And I'm suspicious of bomb smelling dogs because obviously we would just not have bombs anymore if that fixed it. But they're dogs and I'm not sure how I feel about working dogs. Dogs make people happy. That is great. But I don't know that they're a net plus to society.
Right. Yeah.
No one's going to let me make that movie. I've pitched it to everybody. They are not interested. My team. If my team doesn't want to do it, they made a whole lawn thing with me. Nobody wants to do it. So I did pitch that as the title is Fuck Dogs. I wanted to make an anti-window documentary. I still talk about that endlessly.
Okay.
Because windows... Well, I'm not such a huge, this is going to make me sound crazy, but I've already said fuck dogs, so whatever. I'm not such a huge fan of sunlight.
Okay.
I don't really get it so much. And I do think it causes environmental issues. And I do think there's social things. There's people that are like, oh, you keep your shades drawn all day. It's that's why I bought shades. Yeah. Have you ever played the game The Outer Worlds?
Yes, a while ago. Yes.
They have fake windows in that. Legitimately in favor of that. I don't know why you wouldn't just have a solar-powered window that shows you any environment, just a solar-powered TV that shows you an outside environment and your house is more efficient. But that's also a bad movie idea. But an anti-window movie, you could, it adds to your heating bill. It takes away from the quietness of your home for something that well, you're not in a prison. We're not telling you can't have sunlight.
Yeah,
do you need it inside your house? You can go outside. Yeah. And I'm sure there's instances of where it needs to be needed, but these are the movies that we're not making. So look forward to never seeing those because I have tried hard with the people who trust me the most and nobody wants me to. Fuck Dogs particularly has been an awkward conversation, but I stand behind it being a good movie, to be honest. There are so many weird pro-pet movies and then PETA gets shit on. It's PETA has some crazy opinions, but they make some good points too, which is why do we have pets? That'll bum me out. We put down so many animals. You don't know how many unowned animals we put down. And it's there's a great movie to be made called Fuck Dogs, but I have to get a little bit more popular to then ruin that popularity for it to be really interesting. I think is really, when we sell out a full run at Fringe, then I'll make Fuck Dogs to really ruin all that good credit we've got. The Window movie is just the other side of it. It is so boring that I'm the only one who cares about it. It's so everyone is against me.
I think it does circle around though.
Draw your blinds. I don't want to see what you're watching on TV.
I also am big for that. I'm sick of the. It's another of those things where people get very up your ass about oh, you make sure you get enough sunlight. Oh, you're standing here with the blinds drawn, are you? Oh, well, they're just not very this social. Fuck you, man. I'll decide if I want sunlight or not. I can, like you said, it's not a prison. You can go outside.
Yeah, and I'm not to that point. This is the problem: is if you listen to me for long enough, I will convince you. For example, oh, you're not getting sunlight. I'm not convinced you actually do get UV rays through a window. I believe that's what you pay for. It filters it out. So you're just getting like weird heat and light. And I don't know that actually helps. And I don't want to watch what you're watching on TV. Like, I don't get it. Do you want me to, so what am I supposed to do if you're antisocial? Am I supposed to sit on the street and look at what you're doing in your window? Is that really what I'm supposed to do? Like, what am I supposed to do with the outsider? I understand you on the inside. You're like, I wouldn't draw my blinds. Only one of those deplorable addicts would do something like that. Who's hiding their drug use from us. I'm here cooking waffles. I don't want to see that. I don't want to watch your sports game or you cooking waffles. Who gives a shit? I know most people disagree with me, but now that you've agreed with me, now I'll keep bringing it back up in pitch meetings. Be like, listen, this podcaster, he said he loves the no window thing. Yeah. I do like stand-up comedians. I just think that I want to be the voice saying that this is an old genre and an old format. I do like stand-up. I think my work works better in a podcast format and things like that. I will soon be saying podcasts are old man formats because of our own American Kefka, fucking Joe Rogan ruining that too. Yeah. So everything becomes an old man thing once old men start to do it. And if you just sit around and be old and not be accepting, you end up spending your Sunday. Also, where do people get the time in America? I know you live there. I have so much to do and want to do. Who wants to mow their lawn? Don't you have hobbies? Don't you have books to read, videos to watch, podcasts to listen to? Who wants to do that all day? It's crazy. Get a life. Honestly. Here's the point. This is the pro-fringe stuff. Stop going to stand-up shows. Get a life. Read a book. Yeah, that sounds great for Fringe. That's a real pro Edinburgh Fringe. Come to the Fringe. If any of this resonated with you, there will be somebody more funny and less funny than me, being more maudlin or less maudlin than me that you can come see. Come next year. We'll definitely be here next year. We'll send out if we're in your area. Go watch the movie. It's really funny. Chuck's great in it. There's some really powerful stuff in it. It's a cool movie. It's for free on YouTube until further notice, but now's your chance to watch it for free.
Yes, absolutely. And I'll obviously drop links to that in the show notes and things. But yeah, this has been fantastic. Thank you very, very much for this.
Thank you, Patrick. And hopefully I should have come with some sort of cult or MLM now knowing that you were under the spell of no sleep. I really got you. We could have gotten a check. And yes, Patrick, you can fix it for $13 a week.
I mean, it just immediately woke me up. Cause you were like, let's fucking go, baby. And then immediately we were into this. This is fire. So yeah, this has been very, very good. And yeah, I hope I felt like I've been all right, but also I don't really remember this.
You've been great.
Possibly I was asleep.
This is rock and roll. I love when people treat podcasts like rock and roll. Stay up all night editing. That's really rock and roll. But
so fucking tragic.
It's still metal, man. I am gonna run. This was so much fun though, and I hope people enjoyed it on their end.
Yes. Well, best of luck with getting the hell out of there. And
yeah, we'll try. Well, I don't want to leave, so maybe bad luck is what we need.
Bad luck.
We'll figure that out. I will talk to you soon. This was great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks very much for coming on. And before Zoom kind of does it for us, goodbye, everyone.
I will talk to you later, man. This was great.
This is fantastic. See ya.
See ya.
Thank you for making it all the way to the end of the show. Now, you can follow the show on Instagram. That's @NeverIsFunny, all one word, all lowercase. And now, of course, special thanks to my good friend, the immensely talented Arthur Drury, for playing the helicopter pilot in the middle section. Fly high, brother.